It is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. Welcome to another edition of Baseball Today, brought to you by Mountain Dew. If you're looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer, go and grab a Mountain Dew. My co-host today, the one, the only, I truly mean this, the most entertaining pitcher to ever don a Twins uniform. That is Trevor May, producer Dan, and intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. T2, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing great now. That was quite the introduction, man. The most, I don't even, you just
most entertaining.
I am entertaining. That is true. I mean, we had a fortnight day at the field because of me, right? Like, so
who else entertains the masses like you do?
That's a good point. Who else would do that Zubaz commercial but me? Nobody.
Producer Dan and intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Big day for us today. I mentioned, guess what day it is? It's Wednesday, July 12th. It's Hump Day. We have one more episode tomorrow. I believe that, who is it tomorrow? Is it Jolly? Oh, it's Jimmy Norp. We're going to be taking Friday, the 4th of July off. And then on Monday, we get our good buddy, Chris Rose, back in the lab. So we appreciate everyone filling in, especially you, T. May. But we're excited to get our big guy back. We're going to start this show off like we always do, with a tip of the cap. This one's pretty fun. We saw out on the field, we had Cal Raleigh and his dad, Todd, prepping for the home run derby. Number one, I love that he's having his dad throw batting practice to him. I think it's a really special thing to be able to compete in the home run derby, and then to share it with Pops is awesome. Like, they were talking about, how nervous he was. They were talking about the timing. They were really practicing this thing. And I wonder, T. May, if there is some sort of monetary split between the two, because as you know, it's $1 million to the winner of the home run derby. So are we talking a 50-50 split here from Cal Raleigh and Pops, you think?
It better be. It better be at least 50-50. I mean, Cal's the one already making a good amount of money. Just sign that extension. Give it to the Pops. Now, like, I don't know if he's, one of the guys who's paid off the house for his parents or something, but if you haven't done it, now's the time. And one interesting thing, though, I noticed, it seems like he's hitting right-handed, right on right.
He's going to do both. That's what he's saying. He's going to try to go lefty, going to try to go righty. That way that he can kind of stop himself from getting tired. He was mentioning like the timing aspect of it, how they have more time than they thought. So I actually like that he's preparing. Most guys do, but they've kind of like took it to the next level. I was just reading about this. They even had some of the guys that worked at the stadium go and tape off the actual dimensions of Truist Park so they can see if he actually hit homers at that stadium. So they're like all in on this. And I don't know. I saw it and I absolutely loved it. I wanted to give a nice little tip of the cap to them. Let's get into the first question. We're going up into Toronto. It was Canada yesterday. Shout out Canada. The Blue Jays absolutely crushed the Yankees. George Springer went mental. 2 homers. One of them was a grand slam. They got the red unis on. They haven't been particularly good in these red uniforms. I was kind of scouring the interweb, teammate, to find out, there was talk how bad they've been in these uniforms. I found one site. It was a Reddit site. It was a Blue Jays Reddit site talking about they're 17-29 in the red jerseys. If you're a Blue Jays fan and you know the exact number, leave it in the comments below. All I know is they've been historically bad on Canada Day. Now we're going to stray away a little bit from the current streak the Jays are on. Great job. They're really close to that AL East, sneaking up on the Yankees as they're beating them in the series right now. We've both been a part of Canada Day up there in Toronto, and we've both seen what that crowd can do. Like when they're invested in the team, when the team is good, I don't know if there's a more rowdy place in the big league. So my question to you is, do you think that is the most rowdy place in the big leagues? And if not, what's like an underrated city where the crowd really gets it going?
Well, I think at the peak, it's definitely in that conversation. I just think that with the ebb and flows maybe of how the team's doing, they might not be as, they have hockey. They got their national sport. they may not be as like gung ho no matter what, like Phillies fans or Yankees fans, but if we're talking peak decibels when things are going good, it is up there, especially with how that stadium's put together. It's very compact, very echoey. They can get a lot of rowdiness in there, and it's the entire country behind one team. That also helps as well. In terms of like sneaky, rowdy fan bases, I think that they can really get going. I remember when the Royals had those good years in 14, 15. That place was a tough place to pitch for a lot of reasons. It was, like the face of the sun pitching there, but also just the fans will let you have it. I would say Cleveland can get that way too on a weekend. Also, I'm going by like the bullpen being just surrounded by people. Also,
Yeah.
But I think that probably consistently the place that surprised me the most, especially because I was on a team that wasn't this team's rival, which usually kind of takes it down a little bit, was San Diego. San Diego is pretty electric, and it's pretty electric every night. So I got to give them the props because it wasn't always that way in San Diego. So last 5 years or so, that place has gotten its peak. You go in, you forget about it, and you're like, oh, wow, this place is rocking.
I think there's a couple different ways to approach this question. One could be, hey, the cities that are most consistent. And yeah, you can talk about Philadelphia. You can talk about parts of Yankee Stadium. I love that you mentioned Kansas City because I think that's the other side of it. Like when teams are good, what fan bases are showing up. I think the White Sox deserve to be there as well. They're getting in trouble recently for some bad things that they've said, but I think you and I have both been there where when that team has been good, it gets a little crazy. I do think though that San Diego is the right answer for this question because they're showing up no matter what. And then when they are good, when they are in the playoffs, I mean, it's just a different kind of rowdy there. They have the standing room only out there in right field, a little bit in center field. Left field, the stands kind of go straight up, so everyone feels like they're kind of right on top of you. There's something about people like in their apartments right above the stadium, just watching you. You're like eyes are everywhere here. So I think San Diego really deserves, a little bit of love here for being some of the better fans in baseball right now. I mean, I think if we're going one of one though, like you don't want to go play there. In the playoffs, I think it's Philly.
I would say Philly. I'll put like the Mets and the Yankees probably really close. Honestly, the Mets fans and Philly fans are very similar, I think, in their mindsets. They're expecting to be disappointed more so than maybe Yankees fans are.
So it makes them a little more angry because they're expecting to get disappointed.
As soon as something goes wrong, I think that the anger comes out a lot faster. I think the Yankees fans get more disappointed first.
So I guess we landed on most consistently fun, rowdy crowd is San Diego, and then peak is like Philly is probably number one.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. What about your favorite road city? Just curveball question here. Like just to go, nothing to do with the ballpark, just the one to like hang and visit.
I always liked Chicago because I thought we were in cool areas and there was a lot of stuff within walking distance. It's a giant city. But another one that was kind of sneaky. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I always like enjoyed going downtown, like St. Louis, like going and getting a burger or a beer around there. Like it's just very. I grew up in a small town, so I had that vibe a little bit more, and they just love everything is Cardinals themed, everything. So it's like it's very much they love baseball down there. So I would say that was a sneaky one as well. But yeah, that's really all that's sticking out in my mind. I for some reason I keep thinking Cleveland. It's not Cleveland. It's not Cleveland.
Hey, Sophie Cunningham just got in trouble for saying no Cleveland, no Detroit. You better watch out. They're going to be all over you. Detroit was sneaky a fun place to go to for
Detroit was too, and it's by all accounts, it's getting better and better and better. So
they're actually a great. We didn't even mention them for fans. Like they can get rowdy there as well, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they really can. We experienced some good teams there too, but I think I experienced a little bit of a downturn for the org. So it's not the fans' fault. I mean, I probably wouldn't have been going to games during those years that much either.
And Rockies fans like, what about us, dude? Our team is historically bad, and we keep showing up to the ballpark.
The place is cool. Great place to watch a game, that's for sure.
All right, let's move on to question 2. This one, I think, is near and dear to both of our hearts. The Giants and Buster Posey decided to pick up the 2026 club option on Bob Melvin. Things are not great in San Francisco right now. They've lost 13 of 18. They're out of the wild card picture. Devers is struggling as well. Since he's gone over to the Giants, team a 200, 310, 360 slash line. Not what you need from a guy that's supposed to be your middle of the order bat. Buster Posey had some quotes talking about how Bob Melvin's 1,000% the right guy to lead this team into the future. I tend to agree with him. I like Bob Melvin a lot. I like what he brings. I guess my question to you is, if you're running a team, say you're Buster Posey, not too far off. I don't think you won 3 World Series. You don't own part of the San Francisco Giants. But if you were like Buster Posey and you were running the show, which would you prefer as your manager? And people know my takes on managers, but I'm curious to hear yours on this. Would you prefer like the old tried and true, a Terry Francona, a Bob Melvin? Who's the manager right now in Texas? Bruce Bochy, excuse me. I can't believe I forgot that. Would you rather have one of those guys, or would you rather have one of these new school guys, say a Don Kelly, a Will Venable, a young guy that maybe or a guy that's been in the minor leagues working with some of the players you have on your team now, more analytically driven? Are you going the old dog that's been around the block, or the new analytically driven manager?
It's an interesting question, because I think that there's a lot of value in the experience. I think it comes down to, especially in the case of Buster Posey coming in, having a distinct plan of how he wants his team to be and what he thinks is going to drive success there. If the manager you have is bought in and your communication is good, like it's really easy to communicate with each other, and what you want to do is being translated onto the field, that is, I can't think, what everyone's looking for. So if a guy who's been around is able to do that, and by all accounts, Bob Melvin, Bruce Bochy, Terry Francona, these guys have done that and are open to doing that, and they don't push against it, then I would take the guy with experience that is operating within that, or at least surrounding themselves with people who do that well and are able to translate and put it onto the field well with them. If that is what you can do, I think that's the ideal situation. But if a young guy who work with the core, a new core you have coming up, right, and they're supposed to be your core of the future, and the guy was with them all the way through, then that would probably be my next choice. At least if you have the opportunity, for example, in Francona, bring that guy up to be the bench coach to then take over, because these guys aren't going to be around forever. That, I think, is like, that's everything cooking. That means you could be good for years and years and years. But like when it comes down to like Tito or Bochy right now, like if they're available, man, you got to do it, because they're open to the way the game's changed. And they know what their lane is, and if they can't do something well, they're going to get people who can and defer. And they haven't had a problem with that. So I would say, yeah, old heads, the experience, I think, goes a long way. Is still so valuable that if you can get both, do it.
I want the old guy for sure. I want the experience, with a caveat of I need him to understand that there needs to be super open lines of communication to the leaders on the team. It doesn't have to be that way to everybody. You don't have to, everyone's like, oh, come in, knock on my door. Great. That's fine. But you need to have the guys in the clubhouse run it the right way. And if you don't have that, then I think you need to assert yourself a little more into the clubhouse. But if you can find a couple of leaders that you can rely on, and it can be pitchers, it can be position players. I think that's one thing. If I'm having a Bob Melvin, if I'm having a Bruce Bochy, I want them to set the boundaries of the clubhouse and say, you guys run it. This is kind of my expectations. These are our quote unquote rules that we're going to follow, but we need you to kind of police the clubhouse and kind of bring that energy every day. Old guys aren't going to be able to do that. That's the bottom line. If you wanted to have a young, exuberant manager, I understand that, but I think most players enjoy or would rather have a manager that kind of stays out of the clubhouse and then comes in when need be. And I think when you get into the playoffs, the attitude that a guy that's been around the block can bring, I think brings everybody on that team down. Like you're gonna be so hyped up, you need someone to calm you down. I think that's exactly what I would look for. And a guy like a Tito, or if you're hiring these guys, say you took over a team and they understand, like there's gonna be a little give and take. The days of the manager running the show are completely over. Like that's never going to happen again. So you have to communicate with them as well. Hey, look, we have our ideas of how we want this season to go. Are you on board with it? Like, let's get on the same page. But I think the experience for a manager means more than anything right now.
Right now, yes, I would fully agree.
Best manager in baseball?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, who would it be?
AJ Hinch is the guy that everyone always says. He's like the most prepared manager in baseball.
He's extremely prepared. I think I'm always going to have that bone to pick with.
Me too.
Not putting your foot down and having some courage in that situation. That bothers me to this day. There's a lack of trust there. But you cannot argue with the guy's baseball IQ, and he just understands how winning works and how having great teams, putting together great teams, and getting the best out of all your players works. I just think, I think he's probably the best right now at that, the best of both worlds.
I know we're kind of going long on this sub, but it is kind of fascinating to me because I have my thoughts about managers and how little I think they impact the game. But there's such a diverse group of managers in the game right now. I get to do these like media scrums with them when I'm doing my broadcasting. I'll just go in, I'll ask questions. Like the difference between Rocco Baldelli and Pat Murphy, it's so stark, it's crazy. And then you just go around the league and you're, like I said, Will Venable, Don Kelly. You still have Francona doing his thing. They're kind of all over the place. Oh, last question. Does bilingual matter?
I mean, to me, no.
Doesn't it matter a ton? I think it matters so much.
Oh, but absolutely. Like, but the Latin guys, that probably goes so far, like even beyond what they even say. I think that's extremely valuable.
Hard agree that it's tough for I don't expect Bochy to just go and start speaking Spanish anytime soon. But man, if I'm looking for a manager, bilingual is like maybe at the top of my list.
Yeah, it's up there.
Speaking about the top, it's time for Climbing the Mountain, brought to you by Mountain Dude, where we take a look at teams who are climbing up or sliding down the mountain on the trek to the playoffs. We got a lot of movement in the standings as of late. We got the Giants and the Padres both on the outside looking in of the playoffs. The Mets now behind the Phillies in the NL East. They're still the top wild card there. You see the Central teams taking over the NL wild card. The Brewers and the Cardinals there. For a while, it was the Padres, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks. They've kind of gone downhill a little bit. The Reds making a charge. The NL Central's the most elite division in baseball right now. A lot of people are saying that because of the pitching out east. I know Dan doesn't want to show this, but in the AL East, the Yankees division lead is just absolutely dwindling. The Tigers running away with it. And then Houston, same thing out there in the West. We're going to actually focus on a couple teams who really aren't in the race, but have been playing really good baseball as of late. The Marlins, who just dismantled our Twins last night. It wasn't a big dismantling. I think it was 2-0. But they won 8 straight. The Pirates, on the other hand, they've won 5 straight. My question to you is, what's been the more impressive run? The Marlins in their 8 straight or the Pirates in their 5 straight run?
I would say the Marlins winning 8 straight. Did not have that on my bingo card. This is a team that got swept by the Rockies. So we no one expected that. I actually really love going and looking at the roster because there's like 7 new guys every week when I check. But they're all dudes who are getting opportunities to really play every day for the first time. We got to see guys like Stowers, right? Taking advantage of that situation and creating some value for himself. I don't know if it's the Marlins long term, but it's good to see some young guys going and competing with not a lot of experience. And there's no experience on that team, none. So it is kind of I guess, just jump into the deep end type situation. But I love watching guys swim, and right now they're swimming. So, and 8 straight, that's not easy to do. That's a couple sweeps of series in a row. It's really hard to sweep one series, but to keep it going and not like resting your arrows, like you sweep and then you go into the next one and then you get swept because you're feeling so high about the sweep. It's hard to do 2 in a row. So hats off to the Marlins. And also the Pirates caught the Mets they're just absolutely just scuffling. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt, even though it was an outscore of 30-4, and they really made a statement there. But Paul Skeens, I hope you get a playoff appearance at some point, man.
I think that's the caveat here. Both these teams are like, if you were just to look at like a snapshot of this, maybe like a month ago, and you were looking in the future and say, "Holy shit, the Marlins! What did they just do? Oh, they won a series at home against Atlanta, won 2 of 3, and then they went on the road to San Francisco and to Arizona and swept the road trip." We think we're crazy. Now they're back home, 2-0 win against the Twins. Every single one of those teams is on the struggle bus right now. Yeah. Atlanta cannot find their footing. We just mentioned San Francisco, 13 of the last 18, they've taken the L. The Diamondbacks kind of staying afloat, even though they've been dealing with some injuries as well, but they've been such an up and down team. And that was a crazy series, 9-8, 8-7, 6-4 for those games. But the Marlins, I agree with you. They've had some really fun, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know.
Players. Also, we got to point out one thing. I don't think people at home understand how hard it is to go East Coast to West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Because you feel like you're playing at 1 a.m, like you're playing at midnight. And you go.
The body doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Very rarely do teams even go 500 on those trips, and to sweep the whole thing, that's really impressive.
Yeah, for the Marlins, Edward Cabrera looks really, really good. Sandy had a nice string of starts there before his last one. Otto Lopez kind of settling in at shortstop. He made a really nice play last night. They got some guys. They're a really fun team out there. They're not going to rack up the wins like this all the time, but Dave Myers is going to go get it. You mentioned Stowers hitting the ball out of the ballpark. The pitching and the bullpen has been really, really good as of late. So we'll see. I mean, they're on their way. Pittsburgh. They where are they at right now? Pittsburgh took the Mets out and has won the first 2 games against St. Louis, which I think is an even bigger deal because St. Louis is coming in hot as well. So I still think the Marlins is more impressive. Sweeping a road trip, I don't know how many times that's happened over the last 5 years. It can't be that many. It's very, very difficult. And as you mentioned, going coast to coast there. So shout out both of those teams. All right, let's move on to a topic I don't really want to bring up, but I think we have to talk about it. The Astros got some bad news on Yordan Alvarez. He suffered a setback, the second one, as he was set to return to the club within days. All of a sudden now, we're seeing he's going to see a specialist for his broken hand. It's kept him out since the beginning of May. There's rumors of surgery. Not sure. As we just mentioned, the Astros have been playing excellent baseball, have find themselves at the top of the AL West with a significant lead, and they've done it all without Yordan this year. Meanwhile, the Braves, who, as again mentioned, they have not been able to find their footing at all this year. They just transferred Chris Sale to the 60-day IL. He's got a rib fracture from diving. Trying to make a play. Love that for the effort, but don't love it for what happened afterward. That's going to keep him out until at the very earliest August 19th. So my question to you is, will either of these guys, Yordan Alvarez for the Astros or Chris Sale of the Braves, play another meaningful game this year?
I will say for Alvarez, I'm leaning towards no, because they don't know what's wrong with him. And that is always concerning. The fact that broken hands are usually fairly straightforward. There's something else happening. And if it's bones are pretty easy to see. If they can't see it, it's probably not bones. And if it's not bones, that's usually a longer rehab. So I would go for probably not for Yordan. Will the Astros win the division? Probably. and whatever. It's boring, and I hate saying it every year, but they don't seem to care if that guy's hurt, frankly. And then on the other side, Sale. I think Sale will be back. I've experienced Braves resurgences in the second half of the season. They do it literally every year. I just don't think we talk about how they're 500 going into the All-Star break almost every single year, and then they end up being 30 games over. So with Schwellenbach and with Strider getting back into shape, and we're seeing him get better and better every time he pitches, they still got the starting pitching good enough. It's just whether or not they can get the back end of their lineup to figure it out. Ozzie Albies needs to start hitting. But if he does, I think they'll be right there. And that division is they just beat up on each other. So I would say the Braves have a better chance than Alvarez. And I can't help but say I think they will be playing meaningful games, or at least they'll be close to where we'll be talking about them being like right in the rearview mirror, because they just can't help it. They still, the same core keeps doing it. So
I was ready to come on here and say there's no way that Chris Sale is going to play any meaningful games. Right now, the Atlanta Braves are 7.5 back of a wild card. How do you want to read how far back they are in the division? They're behind the Marlins. I'll say that in both regards. You kind of you might have talked me into it, to getting back on the Braves train just a little bit, just enough where we're like, oh my gosh, like they're 4.5 games out now. Like, are they going to get right here? And then they're going to go on a losing streak, maybe? That's kind of like how my mind is playing it now. So does that mean it's a meaningful game? Gosh, I think yes. You're giving the Braves a chance to get like completely back into it, like a chance to be in the NL wild card, because not only are they 7.5 games back, but they'd have to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different teams ahead of them to do that.
Yeah, well, I watched them win 72. They went 72-28 their last 100 games in 2022. So, like, I think we won. We were 20 games over 500, and they still gained 12 games on us. So, I there was a thing where it felt like there's nothing we could have done, and they felt inevitable. And Ronald Acuna, he's back, and he's like, by the way, I can win games just by myself, and I will if you let me. And that kind of energy, him and then Strider getting back going, man, like it's all about the feeling. If you feel like you can do it, I think Olsen's playing better than people give him credit for, and he's getting better and better. Riley's coming on a little bit. It's just that they just need the back end of the bullpen to pick it up a little bit. I think they're just better than they played. And it's the same guys, and they know how to do it. It's kind of like the Astros.
So, okay, Atlanta, stand up. Meaningful games coming. You heard it here first. For the Astros and Yordan, I'm going to say like 100% yes. Even if he has to go have surgery, we still have time. This is what I'm envisioning. Do we need him back in July? No, that's not going to happen. Do we need him back in August? Nah, we don't really need him back in August at all. Do we need him in September? No, we don't. The Astros are going to be in the playoffs. Like, that's just what they do. Yordan coming back, big left-handed bat, ready for the playoffs. That is exactly what I'm seeing. Send him out, get the minor leaguers back on the field. They go home in September, get him back out there, throw him some live BP, get him ready for October, and we might just see a Yordan fest come playoff time. So I'm going to go. You've convinced me. I was about to say yes, Yordan 100%, no for Chris Sale. But I'm going to go yes on both fronts here. Atlanta Braves will be playing meaningful baseball with Chris Sale on the mound, and Yordan back for the playoffs. That is my prediction.
I like it.
You did that. You convinced me right there. I was not about that life. Good for you.
Well, we need a little hope. That's what we need.
Today's episode is sponsored by Best Western Hotel and Resorts. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, Best Western is there for every detour, destination, and unexpected turn along the way. Whether you're hitting the road, traveling for work, or chasing the next big game, there's a room waiting for you. But a great stay isn't just about rest. It's about what comes next. A great stay doesn't just help you recharge. It sets the tone for the early wake up, the late night arrival, or the last minute change of plans. Best Western gets it. Traveling isn't one size fits all. It's for the planners and the procrastinators, the loyalty point collectors, and the I just booked it crowd. So whether you're traveling solo, with your friends, or with the entire roster, Best Western has you covered. So pack your bag, cue up the playlist, and hit the road. Life's the trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. All right. I don't know if you saw this tweet, but Sarah Langs put out a tweet about 30 homers before the All-Star break. Seasons with 3 or more guys hitting 30 plus homers before the break. Okay, so there's 5 different times where this has happened. This year it's been Ohtani, it's been Judge, and it's been Cal Raleigh. You can see on the screen the rest of them. If you're a podcast only, I'll read them off to you. 2019, Pete Alonso, Cody Bellinger, and Christian Yelich. 1998, that was a big one for me. McGuire, Sosa, Griffey, and Greg Vaughn also.
Greg Vaughn sighting. Didn't expect that.
1994, Griffey again, Frank Thomas, Matt Williams, and then 1969. Is that Reggie Jackson?
Reggie, yeah, it's Reggie.
McCovey and Frank Howard. Wow. My question to you is, if you were to have a home run derby, and we're going to take Greg Vaughn out of the equation here because we need 3 apiece. Okay, so 1998 will now be McGuire, Sosa, and Griffey.
Okay.
If we were just to set up a home run derby, and we're talking like obviously the 1998 version of these guys is coming. We're not talking old Mark McGuire here. Okay. Mm-hmm. If we set up a home run derby and each of these squads were playing, which year would win a home run derby? Is it as easy as 98? Because I think a lot of people will go there and say, well, obviously it's McGuire, Sosa, and Griffey. These guys are all, well, not Griffey, but these other guys were juiced.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that easy? Because I'm looking at Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Cal Raleigh being like, I don't know if that's just a walk in the park for those guys.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to throw that. Even though it's Alonso, Bellinger, and Yelich, those balls were just like, just flying. They barely had to touch them. They were flying out. Like,
oh, so you're going the year 2019?
maybe just anyone that was in it from. You could chose like a guy from any team. I would still they would be in the conversation. I think it's between 2025 and 98 for me. The McGuire Sosa thing was just crazy. I think McGuire's just flicking balls out too. Sosa swing pretty hard, but like I think McGuire could just go forever. The interesting thing though, I think Judge has that as well. Like I think even in this group, Judge's swing is so compact. Like he just doesn't have to swing very hard. He doesn't swing as hard. He doesn't have the same bat speed as Ohtani and Raleigh, and I just think he could just carry. So I lean towards Judge. He's just amazing. Oh God, it would be really hard. Am I going to go rose-tinted glasses here? No, I'm going to go. I think Judge. I just think Judge, Ohtani, and Raleigh combined could take down McGuire, Sosa, and Griffey. Because I just think Raleigh versus Griffey, maybe Raleigh takes him. 2 Mariners. I thought I'd say that, but yeah, I think so.
This is 1998 for me, no matter what. I think they're going to win. I mean, look, the little performance enhancing there, but those guys were they looked completely different when they hit the
they don't
ball.
get tired as quickly.
They did not get tired. They're not going to be tired. They're going to be ready to freaking
go.
Right.
You're probably right.
So I'll go 98, but then with the other ones, get it back up on the board here, Dan. I think we are showing our age here a little bit. Because I don't have a lot of Reggie Jackson homers in my memory. I have some, I've seen highlights. Willie McCovey, Frank Howard. I know what they mean to the sport, but I don't have that in my mind. So I think unfairly, they're already out of the equation here. I can think of a Griffey, Frank Thomas scenario where they start to go crazy. Matt Williams, a great hitter in his own right, but I think if I'm thinking homers, I'm going Frank Thomas. So I'm going 98, 100%. I think 2019, sorry guys, get out of there.
Just those names. I get it. Like, but if you throw Ohtani, Judge, and Raleigh in 19, then now we're talking.
Gosh, you know what? You keep convincing me of stuff here. I was ready to say 98 no matter what, but I think that would be a great home run derby right there. Ohtani, Judge, and the way Cal Raleigh is right now, big old dumper, throwing that button to the ball. Between those guys, even though there was a little bit of performance enhancing, I think they give him a run for the money. I'm still leaning 1998 here, though.
I agree.
Let us know in the comments who you would pick in a hypothetical home run derby, 1998 or 2025. That's a good question right there. I came up with that. No big deal. Team A, you're the best as always. We appreciate you coming on, man. If you haven't followed him already, Trevor May Baseball on YouTube, Trev May 65 on the socials. Go give him a follow. Anything else you want to plug or shout out right now?
Nope, that's it. The YouTube channel is the one where I'm at all the time. Trevor May Baseball on YouTube. Really appreciate if you go over and check out what I got.
Yeah, you do really good stuff there, man. So for Trevor May, for intern Sawyer, and super producer Dan Vork, I'm your host, Trevor Plouffe. We will see you tomorrow with Jimmy Norp on another edition of Baseball Today.